What is patriotism?
Patriotism for your country is something as love comes out for your own mother. You belong to her, she belongs to you.
If I am not going to question my country, then how I am going to make it better?
Patriotism means standing by the country and not by the government.
We should not treat supporting the country and questioning the country as two opposites. They both go hand in hand.
Do you think the CJP leadership, Abhijit Dipke, Saurav Das, did they handle it correctly?
They took the stage and used it for personal agendas.
Because they made it political, I don't think they did a very good job in leading the whole protest.
We won't stand with those people or among those people who are making anti-national comments, who are making it a political agenda.
There should have been more conversation about the Radhakrishnan committee, the recommendations that were presented by the Radhakrishnan committee.
India, is it a global superpower in the making?
Like, yes, now the youths have come up and they are creating the job. So I think it is already in the superpower.
If you are not even getting clean air, clean water, even in the capital of India, then how?
If we consistently progressing, I genuinely feel that we can become a superpower.
I believe that would just be a logical fallacy at that point. You can't call a cat a dog because both of them have 4 paws.
Every country has its own trade-offs. We see multiple things that are good in India, multiple things that needs to be fixed, and that is one of the reasons why I say it's in making of a global superpower, and we have not reached there yet, but we are on the right trajectory to become one.
As India celebrates 79 years of independence, we have invited the most talked about people these days, which is the Gen Z, or the Zoomers as they are called, and to tell us what freedom means to them, how are they looking at India and the world, and do they think of themselves as cockroaches or not? So let's start with a round of introductions, your names and colleges, but before that, say your name and college, but also talk about what does being Indian, or when do you feel most proud to be an Indian? How do you identify?
Okay. Hi everyone, I am Adiba Jung. I am a law student at IMS Noida and I am currently pursuing BA LLB and I am in second year. So as ma'am asked that when do I feel the most Indian? I feel the most Indian when I see so much unity in a country that is so diverse, that is so much divided on the basis of language, culture, religion, caste, creed, and still we are co-exhibiting here in our country so peacefully. If we are comparing our country to other countries, to our neighboring countries, and to what is actually happening in the world. So that is when I feel most Indian.
That's fantastic. Many people will not agree with you that we are existing peacefully and cohabitating. But yeah, more broadly, yes, and we've survived 80 years as a country with the kind of diversity we have.
Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
Hello everyone, I'm Kanchan Negi from FIIB New Delhi, currently pursuing my PGDM. As ma'am asked, when do I feel most Indian? I feel most Indian when I am not questioned to be anti-government, when I am not called out and anti-national, when I am being anti-government. And that is where I feel that I have that freedom of voice and freedom to speak up and question the government without being an anti-national.
All right, without being an anti-national.
So hello everyone, I'm Dhairya Gupta. I'm currently pursuing my PGDM at Style School of Business Design. So I feel most Indian when I see India growing in terms of technology and startup culture. We have seen UPI scale to 1.4 billion people, and that's what makes me very proud.
Hi, my name is Swati Baheti, currently pursuing PGDM from Fortune Institute of International Business. So I feel most Indian when I see the transition of the mindset of the young Indians from seeking job to creating jobs through the entrepreneurship journey they have.
Okay, seeking jobs to creating jobs. Let's come this side.
I'm Shavansh. I'm pursuing my journalism from Amity University, Noida. For me, when I feel the most Indian is when I see the medical industry of our country, because it is such an affordable thing that we have built here. Even the people from the Western countries, they come into our country and they praise the medical system of us. We see on the day-to-day basis, we see a lot of reels and a lot of reports when the foreign person, let's just from America, comes to India for their knee surgery and they say, oh, I saved a lot of money. And one of the best things about the Indian medical industry is about the generic drugs that we make, because one drug which costs, let's just say $10,000 in the US can cost you only a couple of dollars in India, and they import it from us, and that's when I feel most proud to be an Indian.
Okay, so you're proud, then you're very of our achievements in the medical fields. Go on, please.
Hi, I am Devanshi Ahuja. I am pursuing BA Honours Journalism from Lady Shri Ram College for Women. I feel the most Indian when I stand up in respect of my national anthem. That is when I get goosebumps, and that is the moment that I really, really connect with my country. It is as simple as that.
Oh, spoken very much from the heart. Go on.
So, hi everyone. My name is Siddhant Lapati. I'm from Soil School of Business Design, and on a much lighter note, I feel the most Indian when I'm, looking up recipes for a certain dish, and I see 700 different kinds of recipes from different states for the same dish. So, yeah.
So again, you back to there what she was saying, the unity in diversity that we as and on our 80th Independence Day, I think that itself is a wonder that the kind of diversity we have in our country, and yet we are one nation. You're also called the Instagram generation, right? In terms of India, how much the India that you see on your Instagram versus the India that you see around you, do you see any differences there? You want to start? Go on.
There are certainly differences around us when we go out into the real world. I see Instagram, the type of content that tends to do better on Instagram is the one talking about all the flowery things, such as, maybe new convention centers being built or the latest restaurant, the new fashion trends that are going on. But I think a lot of it also needs to focus on the sites that need a little bit of development within the country, especially when it comes to maybe areas like sanitation, So
you think it's a make believe world in
I would say
it's sort of brings out the good side but doesn't bring out the bad side. Is that what you're saying?
I wouldn't say it's a make believe world. I would just say that the skewness of the content might be towards the better
So
aspects.
algorithms are dictating what we are watching, and here's a tech wizard. I want to talk to him about
So
that.
basically, when we are looking at the algorithms, we are seeing different people served with different type of content. So when it comes to me, I'm seeing India, the youth being more vocal. So we have seen what a crucial role, but Instagram played a very crucial role in terms of protest, in terms of raising out issues and kind of creating scenarios which were kind of not that much raised in terms of media. So what I believe is it's on the algorithm. The people are seeing what they want to see, and different people are served different content as well.
So if I like, let's say, Amir Khan, I will see only Amir Khan, and I don't know what Salman Khan is doing. Is that
In a way-
it also, but in a way doesn't that become an echo chamber for you?
Yes, so basically, if we see how algorithms are tuned, they are kind of made so that you believe in what you're watching. So in a way, you are kind of served similar type of content again and again and again. So you are sticked on to your Instagram and kind of support that what they are saying. So what I believe is it indeed is an echo chamber, but we do see different opinions as well. If you see.
So do you consume news on your Instagram, or do you consume is that news from traditional media outlets anymore? Is that you want to go with it?
I would partly agree with it. Talking about the social media news that we consume through Instagram or social media, yes, definitely it does come into our feeds and we do consume it. But before fully relying onto it, we definitely had to do a fact check because, giving the recent example of what the CJB protest had happened, there were many news coming out. I won't say that they were biased news, but they were from both the sides. From the side of the government as well, that how the protest went very wrong, and from the Gen Z as well, that what was the fault of the government and what was the fault of the other side. So definitely before consuming any type of content and feeding it permanently into our brain, we have to fact check it in. And same goes with the traditional news. Journalism is the fourth pillar of our democracy.
I am so happy to hear you say that, because if you watch some of the people out there on our various social media feeds, they say there's this term Godi media, which has become, and if you're not Godi media, then you're the other side. It's become so partisan. You want to come in?
Yeah. So there is a difference that I have noticed in the kind of news coverage there is on social media and on traditional news channels. When you look at traditional news channels, if we talk about the issue of the Cockroach Janata Party and the students' protest at Jantar Mantar, the news channels portrayed it as a spectacle, as like something that is happening, and they did not really talk about the cause of it. They were blaming the means by which the students were trying to achieve their goals, but at the same time, they were not trying to understand the cause behind it. On social media, on the other hand, there was a completely different perspective where students and all the people who raised their voices for this protest, they were voicing out the actual cause, the inefficiencies in our examination systems and education systems. So I think that is a gap that needs to be bridged, because how far can one go by ignoring the other side's point of view?
So you think traditional media is not doing enough to bring forth things?
And I want to add, as a journalism student, on my Instagram, I specifically follow almost every news media house on it, including Times of India also. What I feel is that the type of news which all the traditional media shows on the TV is kind of different what they show on the Instagram. The difference which all of us are talking about here, that the traditional media isn't showing the reality. I feel the traditional media on the Instagram pages and on social media are showing actually the reality, because if you go on their pages, you will actually find the relevant news, as well as you will not find the difference there, like they are not showing the reality. Instead, I feel they are actually showing the reality. It's just that I don't know what they're doing with their TVs, with their broadcast media, but on the social media, I guess they're doing the good.
Traditional media, one thing I find very much common, which I don't align to the thought process, is that everyone tries to criticize each other. But I think rather collectively as Indians, we must have a mindset to get the solution rather than criticism. So this is why sometimes I don't align with either of these.
So since we have stepped into the muddy waters of the CJP protests and whatever, so we'll just do a quick round and get that out of the way. In terms of how many of you went to Jantar Mantar, because you're all Delhi students here? Okay, so what is the one thing that you saw on Jantar Mantar that prompted you to go there, and how was your experience?
Okay, so starting with what motivated me to go to Jantar Mantar, giving it back with the previous question, yes, social media, because the print media was not covering it. The TV media was also not covering it and paying more attention to it. So the only way we had the access of the information and the news was social media. And when I say social media, then definitely such reliable platforms or such on-ground channels which were reporting live over from there.
So you went for the march on the morning.
March didn't let it happen. We can't say that I went for the march. The motive was to go for the march, but it didn't happen, because before that we all know what happened over there.
Yeah, but there were many students who were there who did go for the march.
Yes, they likely found a way. They found those routes to go for a march.
Oh, you and your friend could not join that
No.
march. But tell me, you had a different point of view as far as this march, because there was also a lot of violence during that. There were some unruly elements that had entered that, because absolutely the issue is completely genuine. The exam leaks, a very, very big issue that needed to be addressed. But do you think the CJP leadership, Abhijit Dipke, Saurav Das, did they handle it correctly?
I believe that the protest was very, very legitimate. The issue of the education system is very legitimate. The protest was itself had a value and a merit to it, but the presence of certain antisocial elements made people kind of question it. But I don't think that should be happening. Talking about CJP, the CJP leadership, I believe that they took the stage and used it for personal agendas and put politics into an issue that is not political. It is something that is so human, and education, a good livelihood that every student in this country deserves. It was pushed into politics. So I don't agree with that, and therefore I'm really not in particular support of CJP, but I do stand with the protest.
Absolutely. Everybody stands with the students' issues, but does any of you want to weigh in on what do you think about the CJP leadership? Do you feel differently or similar?
I don't really have opinion about the leadership or how they led the whole protest. Specifically, if I have to say something, the specific march which they when they went to the parliament, all the students were in the front of the barricades and the police were beating them, but they were standing behind on their cars or the trucks and just saying, oh, let us go. But they were not really coming up because they knew what about were the consequences of getting beaten by the police. So I will say they had kind of double standards, because they are saying they're fighting for the cause, but they're not really on the front. They're just saying, okay, go ahead, but they're just sitting comfortably in their cars. And when we ask them, are you going to go to Jharkhand or are you going to do the same in Punjab, they say we have no comments. So I think they just made it very political, and because they made it political, I don't think they did a very good job in leading the whole protest.
Okay, the girls there want to say you.
Okay, so if we are talking about CJP, the agenda that was raised, that was really that was needed in our country at that time. Like we had that is so, what we can say, such a big exam. And I also have in my home, my sister, she also appeared for that. So that was the agenda that needs to be raised. That needs to be
The
raised.
paper leak.
Yeah, the paper leak. But the way the things were called out, the way it was executed, I did not like the way it was executed. The agenda was right, the protest issue was right, that we need accountability if we have paper leaks in our country, of course.
You know, nobody there, not nobody, but more than 50% there were not associating them with CJP. So saying that naming it as a CJP protest is somehow, I feel,
Gen Z protest. Okay,
Yeah.
we call it a Gen Z protest, and you're saying 50% of the
More than 50%.
more than 50% of the Gen Z there was there for the issue. Of course, what do your friend circle think? Is the entire Gen Z or your circles thinking like you are thinking? Is because there was a huge amount of support for CJP at one point in time. There were millions of people who sort of got onto their Instagram handle at one stage, rallied behind them. What, in your opinion, is the opinion of the Gen Z? And I'm saying primarily people around you. What are they thinking?
in my friend circle itself, there were a few who were not supporting it because their stance was that we won't stand with those people or with that crowd or among those people who are making anti-national comments, who are making it a political agenda.
While I do believe it was a good initiative for them to force someone to take some sort of accountability for what's happening, a lot of the discussions that were happening amongst my friends was also regarding, was like accountability the only issue that they wanted to talk
कि
about?
क्या धर्मेंद्र प्रधान के resignation
Exactly.
solve हुआ?
And I think one of the bigger issues that all of us raised was there should have been more conversation about the Radhakrishnan committee, the recommendations that were presented by the Radhakrishnan committee. And I mean, till date, those recommendations haven't come into effect when you look at NTA examinations in particular. So I think a lot more sort of voice should have been raised on that matter, because if someone takes accountability, there's still no guarantee whether or not the system has changed behind. So when these recommendations come into place, when you see those effects happen, that's when as a population of students, primarily students, we get that sort of trust behind the government. Okay, someone is listening to, what should have been the changes? How can you make this entire examination scene more secure in terms of paper leaks?
Okay, so and what you see, I'll just come to you. What you see in, let's say, in the parliament in the last several days, the parliament not functioning, conversations not happening, the opposition making a face and creating slogans, the government also not coming onto the table to have these conversations. So what do you feel, what he's saying about the Radhakrishnan committee, the actual things that need to be happening on the ground to change the system, they are not happening?
So talking about accountability, that was the major agenda around CGP protest. If adding on to Siddhant, if we are talking about Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation, we all are seeing the Jharkhand protests happening in Jharkhand as well. We do see accountability not coming into picture from CGP members as well. So the all the points which we are seeing and we are questioning the government that why you guys are not accountable, you need to question the same to CGP members as well, because their presence in terms of such serious issues reflects that they were actually caring for us. But if they still do that, they need to stand for voices in Jharkhand as well and for other matters that first they need to be addressed.
Also about the CJP protest, I had one thing in mind that everybody had a talk that you need a resignation of Dharmendra Pradhan. But I think again, the cohort was diverted from what was their main agenda, was to find out the root cause behind the paper leak. But again, they started and did the same thing, worked at a surface level. What is the guarantee that even if the position is changed and the accountability is taken by somebody else, this won't be repeated in the future?
Got it. Okay. You wanted to say something?
History offers only a few very defining moments to a nation where such kind of convergence happens of political urgency and people's moral conviction. And I think this was one of them. So if such a large movement, if it finally ends up in just the resignation of the education minister and really does not make any change in the education system, I think it really did not achieve its objective. It is very important that whatever happened here, all this should not culminate into just a single thing. I think it's very important. The real question is that if a child entering in grade 1, whether he will become an innovator or an imitator in future. Will he become a responsible citizen, or will he become just a passive person who is not aware of political surroundings, who does not know how to question things? All he knows is rote learning, is to rote learn for the education system and to appear for examinations that have so many
And
loopholes.
got 90% plus.
Yeah.
So there was a one influencer who went very viral saying that that this generation does not read. They only consume Instagram, and their news is they don't read books. They don't read. They don't have a perspective on India. They don't have, and that I'm happy has been changed by speaking to just a few of you here, because you seem to know what you're talking about. You've read, you've understood, you've given a great take on the education system. But I just want to now move a little focus and come back to the issue, and you can talk about the protests and CJP and whatever again, even in the rest of the show. But I want to talk about independence. Now, this is the 80th year of independence. And since you're the Instagram generation, if you had to unfollow one thing about India, what would it be? I'll start with you. If you had to unfollow one thing about India.
I like to follow one thing about India. I will definitely follow the ISRO and the space programs that we have done. Because especially in the 1963, it was 21st November, I remember that when we first launched our rocket, we launched it on bicycle and we assembled all the components in a church. And right now we are doing Chandrayaan 3, which no country has done, landing near the south pole of the moon. Like even the US hasn't been able to do that. So I will follow the space sector of India. And to unfollow, I would say the food security, because it's like it's very doomed, I guess, because no one
But
is.
don't unfollow that. You're the future leaders. You have to provide food security to
We have to, right? But to answer the question, if I have to unfollow something, it would be the food industry or the food security of India. The FSI, like it's the most doomed association of India, I guess.
Okay, especially after everything that they've been catching these days. Do you think?
Yeah, they have just started it now, but like if we have to make an opinion, I cannot just make an opinion on
over the last several
several
Fair
days.
point. Yes, you were saying.
Unfollow casteism, because when casteism is erased, that is when the question of reservation comes into the picture. Reservation can't be removed unless casteism is removed. And which I would follow is inclusivity and equality. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I think I would unfollow the film industry for now, at least.
Okay, that's a why. Okay, why is that?
I don't know. I feel like for the last couple of years, rather, there hasn't been any sort of innovation within the type of content that they provide within these movies. I felt like they've all been very monotonous in the way of their thinking and the story that these movies follow. And rather, I would want to focus more on the side of innovation within the country, especially in the armed forces side, where we're seeing India become a very independent nation in terms of creating their own equipment for these.
Creating the defense manufacturing domain, which has gotten a huge boost. Make in India in defense.
Even I agree.
You also agree. But this was interesting. So he wants to unfollow the film industry because they haven't done anything interesting. What about Dhurandhar, guys?
So for my take on Dhurandhar would be, so personally I don't watch a lot of movies.
Oh my
So I
God,
feel
okay.
like that's not the right question for me to answer. But I do believe that there are movies which are actually bringing some changes We have seen content growing over time, but yeah, the monotonous things are coming into picture again and again. We have seen the
Yeah, but at least they've stopped dancing around trees.
Yes,
You know, which is what we grew up on, the previous generation or the one before that,
Absolutely.
really.
Backward mentality of the people. I would like to unfollow that. I think we have completed 79 years of independence. We are moving into a modern era, and I think we need to drop our backward mentality. And second thing, the two things that I want to follow is the technology. Like, I don't know if you all know that or not, UPI and the 10 minutes delivery system that is so much growing in India as compared to other nations. So I would like to follow that. And also the technology and civic sense. Like civic sense of not throwing garbage here and there, not polluting our country by like we always says that, oh, our rivers are not that clean, oh, this place is not that clean, government is not doing anything. Like, government is not going there to throw that garbage. You have to be accountable for that, because it is the citizens that makes the country. So basically we have to become much aware and drop our backward mentality. That's what my take
Beautiful,
on.
beautiful. Very well said. Come on.
So for me, I would like to unfollow the fear people have in their mind when they put their opinions for forefront, because they always have something in back of their mind that if they say anything which is not aligned to other people's interests, they'll be in limelight and will be backlashed. So I think I would like to unfollow that thing so that more people come forefront and put their opinions. And I would really like to follow the culture, the diversity of India, which is what makes India different from others.
The one, okay, let's say your one opinion which you have not aired because you feel that there'll be a backlash.
No, but
Here.
I really don't fear putting up my opinions. I'm
So
very
go
much
on.
open.
Okay, so you-
I have something which I haven't put it on the social media or something, which is, I would say it's a pseudo-feminism, I would say, because if you talk about pseudo-feminism, they always relate to you, okay, you are against women and all that. But and always if I say something about pseudo-feminists, then I have to explain myself completely from the scratch. Oh no, I don't mean this, I mean that. And there's...
So what is pseudo-feminism according to you?
Like, for me, pseudo-feminism, first of all, feminism is about equal rights between all men and women. It's not about suppressing men. Pseudo-feminist, if I say someone is pseudo-feminist, what I mean by that is that this person, whether it's a woman or men, doesn't matter. Because if I'm saying it's a pseudo-feminist, it means that they're not really trying to uplift women, but they're trying to suppress men, because they think, okay, we have been suppressed, women have been suppressed, so we are going to suppress men. It's going to seem like from the racial discrimination, like apartheid system, for example.
Okay. Okay,
for
so you're
example,
complicating it, but-
no, like for example, to clarify myself again, that's why I don't put it up.
That's why you don't put it
yeah,
up, so because you'll have to
I
clarify.
proved my point here, because that's why I don't put it up, because I have to explain myself from scratch
Okay,
what I mean.
that's fine. Have you understood what he means by pseudo-feminism?
Yeah.
And do you agree with it?
Partly and partly not, because I think, and so what he's talking about is will work in a utopian form of society. In the society we are currently living in, where there is so much diversity, we need different methods and different ways to go about achieving our goals, be it related to feminism or casteism or any other form of inequality or of sorts. So I think I wouldn't fully agree with it. There are so many ways of accomplishing a particular objective, and going into such nuances, I don't think that really helps the cause.
The thing about India that excites you the most? One word.
I think I'll take time in this.
For me, it's Indian Army.
The Indian Army.
the ability to scale.
The festivals we celebrate.
Wow.
I would say trade.
Trade excites you, okay?
Yeah, like
Because
like we have a lot of trade deficit with a lot of countries, so when we are improving our exports, that's what will excite me, because Indian companies going global, that's what I want to see in my lifetime.
awesome.
Startup culture.
Startup culture.
I think the view of globalism that India is approaching.
Okay. So all of yeah.
So I think that excites me most about India is Indian food, because I'm a person, I'm really foodie, and I also cook, and I like spicy, and there is different kind of different taste and everything, but I do not find that in other countries' cuisines.
Okay, spicy, different taste, different food everywhere. No, but as he pointed out, that when you go to Instagram and you see 20 different ways in how to cook poha, for instance. Yeah, right? So that's what you get in India. But like now let's just quickly I have one question, and India, is it a global superpower in the making? Or is still a country struggling with basic problems? Your Instagram feed, depending on what you feel, probably reflects one or the other, or maybe both. I don't know. But I'm just going to have a quick. Who thinks India is a superpower in the making? In the making, all of you think that.
Yeah.
None of you feel that India is.
But there are ifs and buts in that.
Okay, so you think there are ifs and buts. So let's quickly do 30 seconds, starting with you.
Right. So obviously, I think India is definitely a superpower in the making. You can't label it as a superpower as of now because I believe that would just be a logical fallacy at that point. It's a simple case of syllogism where you can't call a cat a dog because both of them have 4 paws, right? There are a lot of things that you need to look at when you label a country as a superpower. When we look at India in particular, I think one of the biggest issues that I see with India, and it could be a risk to becoming a superpower as well, is the simple. I'll just put out a number. I might not be correct, but when you look at the amount of people that actually pay tax within the country, right? We're a country of almost 1.5 billion people, and only about 2 to 3% of the population actually pays tax. So, technically what is happening is there's about 2 to 3 crore worth of people that are funding public services for the rest of the country. So, I think. That needs to be addressed. Bringing that number up would definitely push India towards that superpower category.
Okay, more investment, more whatever. Yes. go
Okay.
on.
I feel India is a superpower in the making, and I say that by seeing the ability of India or what we have accomplished in those 80 years, in those 79 years. Because if you see in 2002, I guess, according to World Bank in 2011 and 12, the extreme poverty percentage of India was, I guess, it was around 27%, and now even after 10 years, 22 and 23, it is around 5% or 4%, something around that. It's I guess 5. Right now it may be 2%, but the latest data I saw it was around 5%. So if you can uplift so many people, if we
Out of poverty.
if you out of extreme poverty, which I guess less than $3 a day, so like the kind of ability you have. So if we pertain that, if we consistently progressing, I genuinely feel that we can become a superpower. By having all these abilities.
Okay, and are we moving in that direction or are there gaps?
I think there are gaps because if we talk about our basic problems, and if we are sitting in the capital of India, if we are not even getting a clean air, clean water, even in the capital of India, then how? Of course, it is global power in making, but it is not superpower yet. We are struggling with basic problems still, and for me, India would be superpower when we have accomplished our basic problems like clean air, clean water. Like I on my tap and I can drink water from that. Like clean, totally clean water, and a child that was born on a financially weaker section, and a child that was born into a very financially good section, and even if he is a child of a minister, a businessman, or whoever, they both receive the same quality of education. That is the day when India becomes superpower for me.
Okay, you have a point.
So, well, I believe India is already a regional superpower. We are seeing India's presence in G20 and our opinions being more heard in terms of global economy. Well, I do believe there are problems with India, and I think every country has its own trade-offs. We see multiple things that are good in India, multiple things that needs to be fixed, and that is one of the reasons why I say it's in making of a global superpower, and we have not reached there yet, but we are on the right trajectory to become one.
Okay.
I would say definitely India is a superpower in making, but it is not completely, developed yet, because if we see there are villages where there is not even the accessibility of clean water to drink. There are no teachers in the schools in the villages or in the rural area, even in the semi-urban areas. There is a deficit of teachers. There is a huge deficit of doctors as well. So until and unless the facilities or the growth which is being calculated for India reaches to each and every and the last person of India, until and unless
until that happens, you think we are still.
We will always.
But let's say China is a superpower. But China, what we know definitely is that there are two Chinas within China, right? There is one that we see, the superpower, and the other part of China where there's unemployment and a brutal crackdown as far as the state is concerned.
Same goes for India as well. I won't say that China is even a superpower because we have seen both the sides of China as well. So I don't think so any country can define themselves as a superpower or as a global power until and unless they can feel it from the beneath, and until and unless each citizen of their country can say it with dignity.
Like you mentioned, two Chinas. I believe I come from two Indias. There is an India where there is top of the line infrastructure and airports. There is also an India where people still need food subsidies to survive. So I think India has its own developmental challenges, and comparing it with the West, with countries like US and China, India will not have growth like US and China, but it will grow at its own pace. And it has the maximum development potential as far as I see, more than any other country in the world.
Okay, maximum development potential. You want to come in?
Yeah, I do have I would also like to state that yes, India is superpower in making. I think from our daily experience, what we are looking that every time we go, we do UPI. We go to buy a vegetable, even they have the payment system. So it is already there very evidently that the digitalization and technology, everything is getting at a higher pace. Also, I would like to quote a number that according to the national report NSA, which was there on 31st December 2025, there were around 2,71,037 startups which have been recognized by the Department of Promotion of Industry and Trade. And now you can see that each of these startups are at least creating 11 jobs. So you can already see the change of the mindset of an individual. Like yes, now the youths have come up and they are creating the job. So I think it is already in the superpower making.
Okay, it's already a superpower in the making, but dissent, because that's the most talked about today in this country. Should patriotism mean supporting the country or questioning it? When I say supporting the country, I mean the government. Supporting the government or questioning the government. What is patriotism?
Okay. Firstly, I would like to say government does not equals to country. Okay. And then questioning, if I am not going to question my country, then how I am going to make it better? Like for more than 200 years, I guess we were under colonial rule and Indians were fighting just to have a voice, just to express themselves. So that voice, that freedom of expression is given to me by my constitution under Article 19. And if I am not going to use that, if I am not going to ask for fairer means, if I am not going to ask for accountability, then how we are going to develop our country? That is my take on this. Also, I would like to say patriotism does not mean blindly supporting the country or blindly supporting anything. I think the most meaningful patriotism is being able to say that I love my country, this is my country, and that's exactly why I refuse to stop questioning. And that's exactly, ladies and gentlemen, I refuse to stop asking for accountability.
Stop asking. Okay, that's, very well rehearsed. It came out so emphatically, but good to hear that. You want to come in there?
What I would say is, for me, patriotism means standing by the country and not by the government. For example, if a foreign power is trying to suppress the country, doesn't matter which political party is in power right now, if they're suppressing it, as an Indian, we should support the country. And if any political party is right now in power,
and therefore the government,
you will stand by the government. Let's just say that Trump is putting up tariffs and China doing some measures to suppress India, to suppress the growth of the country. Regardless of your ideology, we should stand together with the government, with the Prime Minister, and say we are Indians and we are gonna stand against you. I mean, stand against the US or China or whoever foreign power is trying to suppress us, and we're gonna stand by our country. That's what I mean by patriotism. That's what patriotism means to me.
Okay.
I think patriotism for your country is something that is as normal and as natural as love comes out for your own mother. You belong to her, she belongs to you. Similarly, your country belongs to you, you belong to the country. But at the same time, I think we should not treat supporting the country and questioning the country as two opposites. They both go hand in hand. They are not mutually exclusive. if the questions we should be asking is that if we see corruption and remain silent, who is benefiting? And questions like, if a policy is hurting people, should loyalty to the country prevent us from questioning the government and making it better? If we genuinely want to improve the country, we must ask questions, we must constantly criticize, but at the same time we must also not forget the place from where we come from, how far we have come, how far our country has developed.
Okay. Do you identify as a cockroach? And when I say cockroach, I do not mean CJP. I mean, do you, like our generation, anything was thrown at us. We were beaten at homes by our parents. I think your parents would never have touched you also, right? Most of you. Correct. That's Gen Z for you. Us, we were beaten, locked up in bathrooms, beaten black and blue, and all kinds. And not just by the parents, by the teachers as well. You guys have had it pretty cushy. So tell me, so when I say identify as a cockroach, means survive everything that's thrown at you. Do you identify as that?
I think, I mean, even if I were to, divulge a little into that CJP, not really going into the political part of it, but it was used as a sort of insult. But I think it was a terrific word to be used as an insult, because cockroaches, as far as I hate cockroaches, but they last forever.
Yeah, they last forever, sure.
And I think as a generation within Gen Z, I think we are one generation which has gone through so many different sort of phases that this country has seen. I mean, of course, COVID is one of them. Unfortunately, that was a horrible phase for everyone to go through. But I think the way that we have come over it, a lot of us have become a lot more optimistic about the future. Not only that, but we've also seen, like, even if you look at it from a technological standpoint for the country, we were there when CDs were there. We were there when, those box televisions were still present. And a lot of us almost still sort of...
You make it sound as though it's a... Do you know that I was... The telephone came in front of me. You using the mobile phone. Remember I don't know, you won't remember. The first mobile phone came in front of me, which was a round Motorola box.
Yeah.
You couldn't hold it in your hand if you tried hard. Outgoing calls were 16 minutes for 16 rupees for 1 minute. So listen, every generation sees those changes, and TVs came in front of me. So come on.
I think the perspective that I was getting...
I know, I'm just pulling your leg. I'm just pulling your leg.
Yeah.
So, I would also like to speak on this. I do identify myself as cockroach because I see the quality that a small creature has. That it is resilient. It has the ability to adapt itself to any of the changing environment. So I think it is the case with me. I think I'm somebody who takes time to adapt to the new environment, and I pretty get nervous while I'm there, but gradually I find my way to fit in. And I think this is something which every individual should have if they want to be successful in their life.
Okay, you had a point of view on the term cockroach coined by the CJP.
Yes, so well,
not coined by the CJP, CJI.
CJ. Yeah. So basically, I don't believe in the concept, so I'm not referring me as a cockroach, because what I believe is making a term as an identity is a very big thing. So for me, I don't. The statement which Honorable CJI made was regarding some unemployed youth or a certain segment of people that was misrepresented at a very big scale. So when coming on to that, I do represent myself as someone who is very vocal, who is there to raise problems, but adding on to a label is not necessary, is what I think about.
Okay, you don't want the label, and you?
Even I identify myself as a cockroach. The word why it is so much into controversy these days is because of the Chief Justice of India made the statement calling out the unemployed youngsters as cockroaches. Firstly,
He has clarified, sir.
yeah, he clarified it later when the outrage just went, when the outrage happened. But I feel that in the position that he is in, he's in a very huge constitutional position, and wherein he should be so mindful of the words he's using, because the words he will be using has their own influence and their own consequences as well, due to which the consequences happen, and that is why he gave that clarification that what he meant by the statement. So if he want to refer youngsters as cockroaches or by anything in mean by being in that huge position, then okay, we are. we can't.
Happy to wear the crown
Yeah,
of a
we
cockroach.
can't be defined by the thing you are calling us out. You cannot give a whole generation or the whole youth a statement that is in your mind and that you're using in a huge platform.
Should India choose sides in global conflicts, or should it stray its own path? Does Gen Z think of China as a competitor, or simply another major power? How are you guys viewing India in the world right now? Yes.
I see China as a competitor, and seeing what happened in the Galwan Valley and the clash-offs that happened with India, I definitely do support the stance India takes in the world. And I think our ideology of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, of taking countries together, bringing harmony and peace, is a very good ideology. Our foreign policy is essentially about our own interest, prioritizing our own interest. We do not get influenced about what USA wants from us, what Russia wants from us. If we want to buy oil from Russia, we will. What is the best for our country, we will make that happen, no matter how many faces it makes sad. But I think that's the most important thing, to voice your opinion. And I think that's what we have seen changing the worldview and the kind of projection that India has made in the global geopolitical scenario. It has changed, and we have emerged as a stronger voice.
Okay. You wanted to come
Okay,
in.
so as you said that should India choose sides or not, I think from our independence itself, our very own Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru gave us the non-aligned movement, due to which India should never choose sides, because we have to grow. We cannot choose sides and fight and make our own agenda that we have to win this, we have to win that. We have to grow, we have to survive, and we have to develop. So I think we should never choose sides.
We should never choose sides.
Okay, for me, I see China as an hostile state rather than as a competitor, because honestly, no matter what you say, we have to face the reality that we, in a lot of aspects from China, we are so far behind that we cannot directly compete with China. So we should learn from how they did it, and we should focus on ourselves, and we should do that. China is definitely an hostile state by seeing what they are doing in Arunachal Pradesh, what they're trying to do in Arunachal Pradesh, and what they did in Galwan Valley. And for me, for the question with should India choose a side, I don't think that we should, because if you choose a side, you lose your strategic autonomy. Because you can take the example of NATO, they have this Article 5, if one attacks one, then everyone attacks. It's a very, I don't think that it's a right for India, because we are focused on ourselves. And we should focus on our own development rather than choosing sides.
We have better things to do.
We have better things to do, and they're more important rather than choosing a side.
Okay, but you said something very interesting about China being a hostile nation, and that you view it as such. How do you, okay, when India is coming out there, and therefore there is a China on one side, there is Pakistan on the other side, there's now a Bangladesh developing on the third side. How do you view this triple threat that India faces?
Like I see it as a very dangerous situation, and I think India should have acted before it had happened. And now I may have a very extreme view on that, because a lot of countries what they do is, because they don't allow any enemy countries to be close to their border, because that was the exact reason why Russia attacked Ukraine, because if Ukraine would have joined NATO would have come too close to their borders, and that's why they attacked. And I'm not saying to attack Bangladesh, but India did a mistake that China has come too close to Bangladesh, too close to India.
Okay. All right. If you were the foreign minister for a single day, what is the first country you would call?
The first country I would call.
Yeah.
I would mostly maybe look towards South Korea, and that is obviously India has recently initiated the Lucase policy and everything like that. But South Korea at this current point of time, if you look at it from South Korea at this current point of time, when you look at it from a business world standpoint, it is booming, and that is primarily because of all of these AI data centers that are coming up. And unfortunately for the rest of the world, unfortunately for South Korea, they seem to have the sort of monopoly in terms of creating the equipment that is necessary for these AI data centers. So I think definitely connecting with South Korea on that end would be very beneficial for the country as of now.
Okay, anybody else has a
Adding on to
point of
Stan's
view? Yeah.
point, so we are seeing companies like Apple coming into India and trusting us more. So we do see China has the power, manpower to do things at a global scale or at a bigger scale. But I do believe India is progressing at a very fast speed in terms of technology. We have seen contracts from Google, Apple, and multiple brands which are coming into picture and gives us a better stance in the global economy as a AI first country.
And I think that adding on to his point, that will be the best match as China is more into the AI and automation, and the pool which is required, the IT, the engineers, we are best with it. So this combination would work the best.
Okay, IT engineers, but what about the brain drain that India has seen? A lot of our IT engineers, the good ones, the better ones, everyone's choosing to go abroad. So what about you guys? Stay in India or go abroad?
I think we can see this from other perspective. I can go abroad to learn there, to learn better, and then take that opportunity to make my India better. Because we have examples with that. We had Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the very person that framed our Indian Constitution. He also studied in the Columbian University at US and in the London School of Economics. So also Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, he was trained at the NASA itself. So if they can go there and learn from there and help the country grow, why can I not?
Okay, so you go abroad, but then come back and build the country.
I don't think I'm gonna go abroad as a journalism student. I don't think there's a very lot of value for me to go abroad, and I think a lot of values for me lies in this country to become a great journalist.
So if you were an engineer, you would go abroad.
I don't know. I cannot say that. I'm not in that position to say that. So I won't comment on that. But for a journalist, I would want to become a great journalist and put up the voices of people in front of the government and hold the government accountable. So I guess for me, it is more valuable to stay in this country and help this country become great and to reach its heights.
Okay.
There is so much work that the media scenario in India needs right now. And looking at the perspectives of Gen Z, I mean, all of us have voiced out how we are dissatisfied with the traditional forms of media. Even I am pursuing journalism, and I think there is a lot of scope for improvement in our country in terms of the journalistic perspective, in terms of being the fourth pillar of democracy. We can do better. And as the next generation, I would really like to stay in India and build here, I don't know. I really can't tell about the future, but I would really like to contribute to presenting India's stance and presenting the people's stance that is true.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that I would also not like to go abroad, but just for the exposure, but I would like to see myself here in India for the long term. Because I think first thing about me is I'm too much, connected with the culture and the roots of India. The other thing which I see as India is in its growth journey. There are a lot of blue ocean there still which needs to be worked, and I want to be a part of that, contributing to the country, because I have taken from the country a lot as a confident individual sitting here putting up my opinions. I think, and there is the time that I should also give back to the country. So I see myself.
I mean, the entire Gen Z wants to remain in India and do stuff for India and growth in India. It's very heartening. On the 80th Independence Day, viewers, the Gen Z here, completely patriotic as we see them, and wanting to contribute to India's growth, wanting India to turn into a superpower. Let's do a quick rapid fire and wind this up. Delhi or Mumbai?
Mumbai.
Delhi.
Mumbai.
Delhi.
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 Mumbai.
Okay, why Mumbai and why Delhi? You tell us Mumbai, you tell us Delhi.
I would say the whole government system is here, and as a journalist, I would like to stay in Delhi.
Okay, professionally.
Okay, professionally, and
Mumbai?
I've spent my entire life in Delhi, so I would rather want to explore some new horizons in Mumbai.
Okay, you okay. Bollywood or OTT? Since you had a point of view on Bollywood.
I would say OTT.
OTT. Bollywood, OTT?
OTT.
I would say OTT.
Which is the last movie you saw?
The last movie I saw was, funnily enough, Durandar. Yeah.
Okay.
The last movie I saw was Spider-Man Brand New Day.
I saw the Evil Dead Rise.
Okay, so you guys have been watching movies and you are slightly behind on movies.
In terms of Bollywood.
In terms of Bollywood. Is that a fair statement
It's
to
like
make? Okay, no.
India currently is doing good in their OTT platforms rather than, in cinemas. So therefore, most of us, I guess, will go for OTT rather than saying in cinemas or Bollywood, because it is doing better in their OTT platforms. So they have to work on their cinema presence, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
And also adding on to that, cinemas, I think it is accessible. The OTT is accessible at our convenience. So that makes us more drawn towards the OTT
या वहाँ पे तो
platforms.
जाना पड़ेगा पिक्चर देखने हॉल में टिकट खरीदो etc etc yes
I would also like to add it's more about a story. It's not really about the Bollywood versus OTT. We value stories. We are also promoting Gangubai Kathiawadi and Dhurandhar as well, and we're also criticizing some of the movies which doesn't have really that much of stories. So it's really about the story, not really about on which platform it is released.
okay which is the one freedom that you take for granted one word one freedom that you have which you take for granted
Freedom to study and still not up to the expectations what my parents really expect from me.
okay
Freedom to using internet.
okay yeah internet also came around my time
Yeah, freedom to internet, same here.
I would say freedom to walk free in a democracy, because it's not a common in this country, and we have a democracy. And one more thing, like freedom that we are able to sleep properly, and the army is protecting us. We take it seriously, very granted.
okay
Freedom to raise my voice, because I think I haven't really spoken up on issues in a while, which I really felt deeply about. So I think that's where I can fare better, and speaking also responsibly, because as Gen Z and what's happening nowadays, I don't think that I think people have started taking us seriously, and it is time that we also take that power in our hands responsibly.
okay last round India at 79 proud or frustrated
Proud.
Very proud.
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 Anytime proud.
Proud.
Immensely proud, like what we have achieved.
Amazing. Okay. That's wonderful to hear. On that very positive note of pride and positivity, we bring to the end of this 1 hour marathon with our Gen Zs. I mean, a lot of my notions about Gen Zs were changed today, and I hope some of your notions about Gen Zs also would change after listening to some of these bright youngsters talk about issues that matter to them, about politics, about protests, and about how proud they feel about India. And when they're not proud about India, that also they've come out and said very, very, very effectively, and very good to have all of you here. Thank you so much for joining us.